Hello, I'm Jason Byrne. I'm a professor of human geography and planning at the University of Tasmania, and I've received an excellent question about whether climate change will drive people into poverty due to increased costs. This is an excellent question, and it is related to a field we call environmental justice. We know that climate change impacts are not felt equally by all people. These impacts include drought, wildfire, dust storms, flooding, severe cyclones, and severe thunderstorms, as well as things like insect-borne disease. The people who are most likely to be affected by severe climate change impacts like this include Aboriginal people, very young children, very old people, immigrants and refugees, people who have been evacuated, people on lower income levels, those who rent, and those who might be suffering a severe illness. We can look at climate change impacts and think about the connections between the environment and society. So if we look at things, for example, like the density of the built environment, or the height of land cover, or building design, or access to public transportation, we can see that not everybody has equal access to environmental benefits and might be more exposed to environmental harms. The people who are most likely to suffer these environmental harms include those people who are unemployed, people who do not have secure housing, people who are homeless, or those who might be seasonal workers, or single heads of a household. So to return to your question, will climate change drive more people into poverty? The short answer is it very well could. We know, for example, in countries in the developing world, like Bangladesh, there are very large numbers of people who will be displaced due to a combination of rising sea levels, increased cyclonic activity, and severe flooding. Many of these people already earn very low incomes, between $1 and $4 a day for some households. If those people are displaced from traditional homelands and have to flee due to events like a severe cyclone or a flood, or coastal erosion and eventually inundation of croplands and even cities, those people will have to move elsewhere. And we know that displaced populations are highly vulnerable. Oftentimes it takes longer to find a job. Your children might find it harder to get into schools and get an education. You might be exposed to disease, and you might find it much more difficult to get healthcare. So the short answer to this question is that for those people who are more vulnerable in society, it's very likely that they will be displaced by severe climate change impacts. And there's also a high likelihood that more people will be driven into poverty.